Hey guys, I have a few different ideas for some videos I want to make, and they're not all going to be the same video because they're so vastly different in topic, but I'm trying to figure out which one I want to start with. I think I'm going to do the hard one first. I think I'll do the hard one first, yeah, because it's much better to do, and then, yeah, so this is a personal video, this is a personal vlog. Let me see how I can say this. So basically, this is about some stuff that happened to me in the past, and so I'm making it for helpful purposes for myself and for others, because I know that this can help others. I know that we've all been through some crazy situations in our lives, down crazy roads, through things that are just hard to put our finger on, hard to deal with, and stuff like that. And this isn't going to be all about like talking about really harsh, triggering, traumatic things. I don't think, not really, not like abuse or anything like that, or addiction, but just kind of some deep historical or deep relationship, deep memories, relationship related things from the past. So I was just thinking, I was listening to, first of all, it's a very amazing, beautiful day today. It's like just an amazing, beautiful day. Like, this day is probably not going to get as much credit as it deserves. That's how beautiful it is. And it was my birthday yesterday, which was just awesome and great, and had a great day, and it was just wonderful, and woke up to today. The Caps lost last night in the playoffs in overtime, which sucked, but they're just down 1-0. It's not like the end of the world, but that wasn't very fun. But still, I'm only saying that to kind of explain the mood, I guess. But I'm fine, I'm good, and just not really somber, but like kind of just getting ready for the day. I'm on my way to school, getting ready to do some stuff, a big group presentation, kind of collaborate with everybody in our group, our few group members this morning. Beforehand, just had breakfast, and it's awesome. So and I also feel like, I will get to the point here, I promise. I also feel like I've discovered a little life hack. Yesterday was really, really good, and towards the end of the day, someone asked me how it was, how was my day, how was my birthday and stuff, and I could have, in the past, basically, I could have been like, well, it was pretty good, or, yeah, it was good, it was pretty good, it was good, But I felt like, well, I realized how lucky and blessed I am with all the people, friends and family in my life that love me and care about me and said wonderful things to me. Just a wonderful day, right? And so instead of going down almost a familiar road, I kind of cut to the chase, and I kind of said something that it reminded me of my old self when I was younger, like when I was like a teenager, basically, in faith. I just said it was wonderful, and it was, but it just didn't. It's kind of hard. This is kind of hard to explain. It just seemed like something. It just sounded like I was saying it differently, or I was saying something. It was a different response. I had this moment, and might sound ridiculous, but I had this moment where I could have, responded, and how I responded, but I just put a cap on it and basically said it was wonderful. Like it really was. It was really wonderful, and I'm super thankful. And since I've done that, I feel like I'm kind of in a little bit of a different place. It's kind of shifted. I feel like I'm kind of in a different, might sound crazy, but I feel like I'm in a different lane, so to speak, which is really awesome. And so this morning, the band, the Classic Crime came to mind, and the Classic Crime is like, it's such an awesome band, but I used to listen to them. I used to especially listen to a certain album, a couple albums, but a specific certain album called Vagabonds. I can't even explain it to you. It's too good. I can't even put it into words. It's just such an awesome, upbeat, sunshine day kind of album vibe. It's just so good. It's they're such a great band, and anyway, I could say a million wonderful things about them, and they deserve it. They're amazing. I love the classic Crime, and they made some recent albums I haven't really listened to, and they've made some directional changes I haven't quite agreed with, but their older albums for sure. I just love them so much. I'm never going to give that up. I always love the classic Crime, and so I used to listen to them a lot when I lived in Reno. At a certain point in my life, at a certain time in my life, when I was married, when I was married to my wife at the time, and we lived together in Reno, and this was like in my early 20s, like from age 19 to 24, or age 19 to 23, and it was really, really good. And I just was thinking about that point in time when I listened to this band and how happy it made me, and just that point in life in general. And I started remembering how happy I was at times. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times when I think back to that point in my life, I kind of have to justify, and this is the deep relationship stuff, I kind of have to justify not being where I was. And so what I do is I say, well, it was actually really horrible, actually. And that's kind of a defense mechanism. When you miss something that was really, really good, that you loved so much, this is deep. When you miss something that you don't have anymore, or it's over, or it's lost, or you walked away from it, you miss it so much, you can't comprehend life without it. Such a crazy thing to lose. And there's a part of you that still just can't comprehend one of the things we do sometimes to help ourselves get through it is we say that it wasn't that great. We say, well, actually it really sucked. And that's been my story. This is deep, and this is a big piece of me to share, but that's been my story for a long time. It's been my story for a really long time. And this is totally a part of my healing process for that relationship. I'm 36 now. I just turned 36 yesterday, but this is a while ago. This is a long time, and it's amazing how long it takes to heal. Never underestimate how deep things can go, and how important it is to really try to make the right decision and think things through. Don't make knee-jerk decisions that can change your life too crazily. Think it through. Pray about it for sure. That's my best advice. But I would always say, when thinking about that time in recent years since that happened, because what happened was, me and my wife, we lived together in a house, and things were just kind of just like, they were okay, they were all right. There were a lot of things, I guess, in my life. I'm trying to mitigate between what I usually say and what's true. It was great. It was great living with her. I had such a great time. I loved her. It was wonderful to have her as a companion, as a partner, as my wife, as my love, just amazing. I can't even begin to express that feeling. It's too much. It's wonderful. But I guess with time, things just got a little crazy, and I know some of the things I felt, some of the reasons why I left, but I don't know if I can fully justify it yet. I felt kind of lame. I was kind of dissatisfied with life. I was kind of frustrated with life. I was kind of like, dang, here we are, and this is it. Like, we have this, and it sounds so ungrateful. And I probably was. I may have been, probably was. But just wanted more out of life. And I felt like I kept having a lot of joy and kept wanting to do certain things. And then it was always seeming, a lot of times, there were a lot of times when she really kind of like stifled I guess, stifled my happiness, or was kind of like, well, actually, you know. Or I don't really have a lot of excuses to make. I feel kind of bad, actually. I feel kind of like I may have made the wrong decision. But yeah, I think I did. Well, it's crazy, and this is something that I haven't really thought about. I haven't been able to think about this very much for a long time because it's been too hard to process. I haven't had the, I guess, emotional stability to be able to concentrate on this and even think about this. But it's really hard. It was really a traumatic moment when I broke up with her and told her that I wasn't happy and that I wasn't going to be happy and that, you know, I needed to just get out of this relationship, basically. Just needed to be done. And it was a really unfair thing to do. It was a really unkind thing to do, and to her. But at the same time, it was helpful. It was helpful for me because I needed to get somewhere. That sounds wrong. I just needed to get out of it, basically. I just needed to be done, basically. It was really hard. And again, I'm not trying to say that the whole relationship was horrible. It wasn't, but it was more so like I really felt like I made choices. I made a lot of serious, life-changing choices from a place of not thinking I could do it. Like, basically, when I started dating her, I really did like her, for sure. But there was also a side of me that didn't have a lot of confidence, that didn't have a lot of self-worth at all. And there's a side of me that was like, basically, this girl is showing interest in you, you know? And this is where I was, and this is what I thought at the time, around the time when I first met her, basically. This was, I think this definitely influenced me to a certain extent. Yeah, it definitely did influence me. But it was the thought that said, you know, this is the best you can do. She is pretty, like, to, you know, and this sounds horrible, but this is kind of like into a guy's mind some, because, I don't know, I guess maybe I am vain. I don't want to be, but I think we all may be to a certain extent. I mean, obviously, it's most important what's inside. It's not on the surface that matters. It's what's inside. It's not how pretty someone is. It's about their heart. It's about who they are. It's about who they are inside, you know? But I basically felt like, and the guys, you guys can relate to me on this, so I'm going to speak right to the guys on this, because this is a little hard to say, while thinking about females listening or female audience. So I'm gonna say this to the guys. So guys, when you, and this is kind of shallow, but I mean, this is just a function of the way that guys think to a certain extent. Not all guys, but guys, when you're trying to find a girlfriend, or you're trying to find you're like trying to find a girl, like you're looking for your soulmate, or you're looking for your wife, or you're looking for your girlfriend, or whatever. You're looking for that person. You're looking for your dream girl, you know. You're looking for her. A lot goes into that. You start to think about who you can get based off of who you are. How do you look? How is your personality? How is your confidence? And then later in life, it's how much money do you make? These are true reference points, whether they're unfortunate or not. And you start thinking about who you can attract, who will say yes to you, who will like you, who will accept you. I mean, in school, a lot of times, my friend is in front of me. That's awesome. That's awesome. He just waved at me. Um, we think, yeah, this is deep, and this is probably darker than I need to get. I'm kind of showing here, but it takes a lot to figure out who we can be with, or who we think will say yes to us or whatever like that. And this all depends on where your confidence is, how you think, your mindset, etc., etc., etc. But when I met this girl who I eventually married, I felt like, wow, this girl is really awesome. She's amazing. She's pretty. She's beautiful. But also it fit, and she also fit into the realm of who I thought I could. It was like, it took like my max confidence in a way, which wasn't very much. I didn't have very much confidence at all, really. It was like, took my max confidence to kind of like talk to her. Um, well, I kind of did. I kind of just talked to her kind of confidently. But what I'm trying to say is like, uh, sometimes it's just hard because you think that you can only be with this girl or that girl because, or that's the best you can do. That's the quote best you can do because, you look this way, or you don't have this job, or you don't have these friends, or you don't have this money, or you're not this attractive, or you're not that attractive, or you're not this confident or that confident or whatever, or you're only this. Depending on your self-confidence, your self-esteem, and all of these things, your self-worth, all the things depending on how and where you see yourself, depends on who you think you can deserve, which is really sad. It's a sad way to look at it, but that's really how we think sometimes. And I know I'm not really speaking a foreign language here, and I know everybody else can put their own personal twist into it, and believe me, I need those personal twists. Tell me about it. Tell me about your version of this. But so yeah, we got married and everything. Eventually, long story, like years later, after we dated for a while, we got married. But I guess I'm not going to be able to finish this video because it's not. I don't have even close enough time to do so. I don't think. Actually, maybe I'll have a little bit more time, but we'll see. What I'm trying to say is that I had a hard time dealing with the fact this was a big heartbreak and a big loss, when I broke up with her. And first of all, it sounds so ridiculous and silly that I'm the one over here saying, yeah, this was so hard, this was such a loss, this was so hard, when I was the one who broke up with her. I was the one who ended everything. It was my decision. And it's just a lot. I couldn't comprehend it at the time, I guess, what I was giving up, or it's just, I just feel like there's still a lot to process. And this was over 11 years ago. This is a long time ago. And I still haven't processed it all, of course, because it's a lot to process. But like I said, I've been saying for a long time that, things were really bad. Things just really sucked. I was so unhappy. I was just so unhappy. I just couldn't do it anymore. That's why I had to do it. That's why I had to quit, basically, and break up with her. That's why I had to end the marriage. That's why I had to get out and everything, because things were just so horrible, and I just couldn't take it, and it was just murder. It was just murder. It was horrible murder. And it's like, are those things really true? It depends. It's hard to explain, because some of it is me justifying the decision, and some of it is true, of course. I mean, I wouldn't have left if I didn't feel like I needed to, or had to, or wanted to. I really just kind of felt, it's hard for me to remember how I felt at this point in my life, because it was a complicated thing, and it was hard, and it wasn't, those emotions weren't easy to feel, meaning it was difficult. So yes, it was difficult, the relationship and being there, and feeling just kind of like, I don't know, I just felt like I was watching my life be lived all around me, or my life pass me by all around me. I felt like, here I am, and I'm not really happy, And it's not like, this isn't a mental health thing. This isn't a deal about depression or not. This is a deal about when you are somewhere, and that's what I was trying to say before when it came to like dating her, thinking I was worthy of her, or thinking I could earn her, if that makes sense, or I was thinking if I could like woo her over, starting out and all this stuff. I thought that she was the best that I could do. I thought so much. I thought so little of myself, and then eventually, when I realized the truth, that I was more than I thought I was, meaning like my self-confidence improved, my self-worth and self-esteem improved. I started becoming more confident. I started feeling more complete. I started feeling more whole. I started feeling more like a person and less like an empty shell or empty ghost or whatever. Like, because I felt like that for a lot, like growing up in high school and everything. I felt it was hard. High school was hard. And I had a really low self-esteem. But then when I started feeling a little bit better and more secure and stronger, then I started realizing a lot of things about life around me. And I guess I just started feeling like, man, like kind of like this sucks, And this makes me feel so ungrateful, and makes me seem so ungrateful, or seem so, I don't know, like, man, I just didn't really appreciate anything. It just wasn't good enough for me. It wasn't that it wasn't good enough for me. I still felt, even though I was improving and I was starting to see things a little bit better, I still felt those same old ways as I always did when I first met her. And yes, she did bring me a lot of happiness and joy. But it was just hard. And I think I'll have to end this video because I think this might be about as far as I can get. I don't want to push myself too hard here. It would just not be good. But so listening to the music today that was really bringing me a lot of joy, on another note, was really reminding me a lot of the good times and the good feelings I felt back then, which I did. And I felt a lot of those with her, and I shared a lot of those with her. And a lot of those feelings were our lives. Those feelings were our life in a way. But it's just kind of hard to explain. It was just like, I wish things could have been better. And, not blaming her at all. But we all have our own battles, our own fights, and our own places we are, our own demons, whatever, our own issues. And she had hers. She had her issues too, and her problems too, just like me. But I guess over time I just got really tired, because I felt like I had to hold it down all the time for both of us. And I'm sure she felt like that too at times. I'm sure she felt like she had to be the mature one, and I was the irresponsible juvenile one, or the one that was acting too irresponsible or too immature. But really, I was acting that way because I was so tapped out. I was so tapped out from trying to be the mature one. I think it all boils down to it just being more than I could handle. I couldn't handle seeing my life, because I remember before I proposed to her, I had these thoughts, because it was a big deal, obviously, to get married and to propose to someone. It was a big deal to think about. And I remember the feeling. I remember feeling right around that time, right before I proposed to her, I remember feeling like I kind of sat myself down and thought about it for a second. But I couldn't, it was too much to comprehend. It was too much to deal with. So I basically kind of took the easy way out, which is actually the wrong way. It was the wrong way to go. But at the same time, I don't blame myself, because it's like, what else was I supposed to do? It was so hard. And the decision was basically, or the thought was, well, Justin, if this is really what you want, you're about to sacrifice your entire life, basically. You're about to sacrifice your entire life for this. Is this what you want? Is this what you want to do? Do you really want to marry her? Do you really want to be with her forever? And I felt like I had so little that I couldn't really sit and make that decision or think about it or even consider life without her. Because when I thought about life without her, I felt like I had nothing. I felt like, well, if I say no to her, then what do I have? I don't have anything. And then I start thinking about what I'd already done and thinking about what other people would think about me or what they would judge me, how they would judge me, or all these kinds of things, or what they would say about me and all these kinds of things. I just couldn't really handle it. I felt so badly that I needed to be successful, and I need to be successful in everyone's eyes. I wanted everyone to look at me and go, wow, Justin is doing good. Justin's actually doing good. Justin's living his life. Justin's doing a good job. And so I decided, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I love her, and, this is what I need to do. I've already moved all the way out here across the country, away from my family. I've never been this far from home. I've moved thousands of miles away, and we live out here with her family. And I need to marry her. I just need to marry her. This is the stuff we've talked about. This is the stuff we've dreamed about. I've loved her so much for so long. She loved me for so long. We've sang love songs to each other, basically, like just love so much. And so this has to be the right decision. But I made the decision. I made the decision without looking back, and which is great. Kudos to me. Good job. You made a good decision. But at the same time, I didn't think about. I couldn't comprehend, and this is why when I broke up with her, it was so sudden. I broke up with her like 2 years later, and that was basically an eternity later, because I guess in a way our married years did go by kind of slow, slow and not at the same time. But it was so hard. I couldn't comprehend. I could not comprehend breaking things up with her. I could not comprehend. Like I said before, I couldn't comprehend life without her. I couldn't comprehend leaving her, or our relationship being over, because our relationship, this is going to sound really corny, but I know that our relationship, I felt like our relationship brought a lot of people hope, and a lot of people joy, and optimism. And I felt that, and that's why it was so hard. It was so hard to break that too. There were a lot of people in our family that were so happy for us, who just accepted us and loved us, and I never really sat and thought about the fact that they love us, therefore they want us to be happy. Therefore, if we're not happy, they want us to be happy, one way or another, whatever it takes. I never really thought about that, and I never really felt worthy of that love, worthy of someone loving me enough to let me do whatever made me happy. And yeah, it was just crazy. It was crazy. So when I say it was all so horrible, there's truth to that, but there's definitely more. And so yeah, it's just complicated. So I'm gonna end this here. I'll talk more about it in the future, but I'm definitely good. I'm doing fine / great / awesome. I'm super stoked and happy. But I'm just still processing some things, and it's really wonderful to do so. It's definitely emotional work. It's deep, but it's good, and I am okay. But it's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot, and so I'm glad. I'm glad to do the work. I'm glad to talk about it. I'm glad to work through it, because it's really important to do so. And I encourage you guys to do this kind of work for yourself too. Really talk about things, and whether it's to a therapist, whatever, whether it's to your video camera like me, whether it's to your online friends, whether it's to your friend, your family, your mom, your brother, your dad, your sister, whoever. These things are really important to deal with and to talk about and to deal with. And it's not easy to deal with them sometimes, but it is important too. And it is very helpful too. So I just kind of want to share that. And I'm really glad that I did. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope this helped you kind of maybe look at some things in your life that you might need to process or talk about. Or let me tell you this, like I've said, this stuff that I went through was like 11 years ago. This is a long time ago. It takes time sometimes. So don't force yourself. Don't force yourself if you're not ready. Be gentle with yourself. Be careful with yourself. Be easy on yourself. Take it easy. Don't do too much. And I'm speaking all that to myself as well. So, have a good day, you guys. Take care. And it's going to be a great day. There's wonderful things waiting for us all over the place. So, let's have a good day.